Let's get started with body manipulation. With the ability to control the very vessel that allows us to interact with the visible world, users of, get this, Sómakinesis have complete control over the bodies and anatomies of oneself or others. Now, this may be really redundant, but we all know what a body is, at least. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably have one. But the Shay loves doing this next part, so a body, in its simplest of terms, is the physical structure of a person and or animal, including but not limited to the bones, blood, flesh, and organs. This obviously grants the users numerous abilities, but the main one is allowing them to freely alter and manipulate whatever bodies they come across. They can even do this on a chemical and or cellular level. Now, the applications of what can be done range from allowing the user to, telekinetically move humans through their bodies or manipulate the bodies of either the departed, other species, such as animals or even extraterrestrial creatures, if you will. While more advanced users might be able to interact and exert control over the bodies of, metaphysical beings, such as ghosts, spirits, deities, or even things classified as astronomical bodies, like planets or stars or whatnot. Basically, if you can conceive the target as having a body, then ding, 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 you would try and then eventually be able to exert some kind of control over them. So with all those limbs just hanging in the air, I'm going to let you guys know that this power may and may not grant insight into controlling your own bodily powers. I know it's tempting to walk around with an enlarged body part, but if you want to fit in and blend into the society that we have, then it's better for you to hit that like and subscribe button, because all the answers you're looking for exist in this video. But if you get off on the taboo or just plain unnatural, then at least do me a favor and hit that share button for others who took an enhancement pill. If you're just here for the applications, uses, and users for this power, then skip ahead to this time. But if you guys are ready to feel like a real boy, then no more need for corny jokes. Let's just get on to it. It's pretty obvious that the origins of a body can become extremely complicated and or convoluted because of, words and how they work in most languages. So let's just start simple and work our way up from there. Every living organism that we can identify is contained within a physical structure that allows said being to interact with the physical world. Normally, we call the shell, if you will, a body, and that encompasses everything from the micro world of bacteria and single-cell organisms to the more medium-sized and fleshy forms of, most animals found on Earth or other planets, all the way to the macro examples of planetary objects and systems. But there's also an esoteric side to this as well, just like all concepts that I've covered and will continue to cover in the future. Humans will always try to explain things to make it easier to understand. That's never going to change. And because of that reason, this concept has been seen throughout myth and legends since the beginning of time, and in turn has led us to transcribe, if you will, a discernible limit to something we can't visually, or in some cases, cognitively conceive. Examples of this are giving beings like gods, angels, devils, or monsters conceptual human-like forms that interact in the world the same way we would. They just do it in a fantastical way. And if you really want to get wacky with it, some religions claim that entire universes and or worlds were created from the body parts of some kind of god or eldritch being that exists outside of known time and space. So suffice to say, a body is an extremely well-known concept, not just in popular culture, but in everyday existence. Well, duh. Now let's get some of the common sense stuff out the way. You've heard this before and you'll no doubt hear it again, but we're referring to a body, or any body, blood, bones, the back, a butt, and a brain, and whatever effects they produce are normally included. And yes, while they are still classified as bodily powers, which have or will receive videos of their own, stay tuned for that, for the sake of my sanity, I'll just be including them all in one when referring to the body, normally. So, moving on. We all know that different types of bodies exist, ranging from the spiritual to the astronomical and even the more simplistic physical concepts of a body like animal bodies or protozoa bodies or whatever the term is, I don't know. But let's at least try to stick to the sort of simplistic concept of a physical body. We get plenty of time to get into the esoteric stuff in other videos. But then again, why is the concept of a body so important? Well, my answer is because it allows us to interact with the world. I said that earlier. Or it's used to help explain the world. I said that earlier as well. For example, in our real world today, the human body is often used as a metaphor for society. Think about it. The head of state, the strong arm of the law, the back of the workforce, etc. We know these entities aren't actually body parts, but even the least educated among us can notice the comparison or at least understand the meaning of these terms when they're used. Basically, if someone is going to use the concept of a body as a metaphor, you know they're going to be talking about a system of some kind. That's just the worldly view behind that term. Additional evidence of how important the concept of a body is the basic human understanding is the term that we've all learned in school or have heard at least once: personification, which is simply put, giving a non-human thing human-like qualities in order to understand or relate to it better. An example of this is drawing the sun with a human face, or tree branches as arms and fingers, or even statements similar to the previous example, such as saying someone is the backbone of a country or referring to the rulers of a country as a governmental body. In fact, it's such a common thing to do that the concept or the term body has numerous symbolic meanings that really can't be quantified under one umbrella. For example, various religions refer to the human body as a temple or a similar place of worship, and state that it should be treated as such. Another example of this is your stereotypical religious communion meal, where an edible item is compared to the body part of a saint or a deity. But getting back into this concept as a superpower, this very common ability, when portrayed, is normally used as a form of physical enhancement with endless applications. If the user's on the more positive side of the morality scale, then expect them to use this power to enhance themselves or give themselves a perfect physical condition, and in turn gives the audience a lot of visual benefits, six packs and muscles. If someone on this side of the scale decided to use this ability on someone else, they could end up being a bioengineer and heal or enhance others through said body manipulation. But if the user finds themselves on the more neutral to sinister path, then expect them not to care about how they appear to others. Expect flesh-based weapons molded out of their own body, all the way to straight-up body horror, where they take advantage of the fact that they can shapeshift into, combat tentacles, monster limbs, or just become a walking blob of destruction. They can even manipulate their own body's natural chemical makeup to produce various effects not available to normal members of their species. They can even manipulate outside physical bodies the same way, which will make anyone want to avoid you when you have this power. This power can be acquired in so many different ways, and as such, it can be shown in many different ways. This power is so common and vague that it really encompasses subjects including, but are not limited to, mind over matter, which is extreme control over your body through your mind, a science experiment gone wrong or right, a zombie-like pandemic, drugs or medicine, or a curse of supernatural origins like a werewolf or other lycanthrope-type transformations. Heck, you can even be possessed by a being beyond your perception that takes control and shapes your physical form into one fitting them, which God seemed to do a lot. Or this ability can be used for comedic effect during certain hyperbolic moments, like when the character wants to exaggerate something, their head might get big or something along those lines. Basically, if it alters the body for the better or the worse, you have a user of this power. And with that, common stats for an ability like this kind of range because it does depend on the body that's being used. But stereotypically, that means low to high levels of attack power depending on how you manipulate the body, low to high levels of speed depending on how you manipulate the body, and low to high levels of defense and regeneration depending on how you manipulate the body. The one great thing about this ability, though, because there's so many types of bodies and so many types of, people, that this power gives you immense versatility. Like, there's no ending to what you could do with a power like this if you had the imagination and the pain tolerance for it. This part's going to be long. Oh my God, it's going to be long. So let's just get through it. Now, with the power to manipulate the body comes the natural ability to possess a body that can use more than 100% of all their systems and bodily functions, making them smarter, stronger, faster, more agile, durable, etc., with enhanced bodily capacity. That ability is one you're going to find any user of this power possessing right off the bat as something that they always have activated or are always using. But if the user splits their own body or a target's body apart into pieces, they can then control said pieces however they wish by levitating them away from the target's main body with anatomical liberation. This application can be done in numerous ways, but is stereotypically seen as less aggressive. Now, if you want something a little bit more forceful, the user can easily rip out or off the body parts from their own or a target's body. This is usually done by brute force, or can be done supernaturally as well, with body part ripping. Or the user can separate a body part of oneself and or others, and as an added bonus, can join them together again even without injury, with body dismemberment. The user can generate body parts such as an arm, leg, mouth, eyes, whatever, either on themselves, others, or another surface completely separate from outside sources with appendage generation. The user can then use the body parts that they generated and change the anatomies and aspects of their bodies into different forms, creating shapes both simple and complex with anatomy constructs. And if you want to get technical, the entire physical body can be seen as a construct. So with the previous ability, you could, would, and should be able to generate entire bodily systems without outside help with body creation. Users at the next level can focus on their own internal structure and ignore anything else at the moment. They possess complete and total control over one's bodily capabilities, both biologically and systematically, meaning they can move athletically and acrobatically with remarkable grace. All this in conjunction with sustaining a willful enhancement of one's own biological systems in order to maximize their performance. Simply put, a user with this application holds complete mastery over their bodily systems with body supremacy. That application is like the umbrella category of everything that comes after. So if the user can adjust the body's capabilities, such as, dislocating joints and or bones, or alter bodily systems such as the heartbeat or blood flow, if you will, as a result, they can increase or decrease the physical abilities and or the ability to perform at their physically best, then you have a user of body adjustment. And since you're adjusting your body, manipulating it, but more precisely, this includes the various processes and changes that your form goes through on the daily, such as digestion and growth. So with body function manipulation, you would be able to control them to a much greater extent. And since they belong to you, it would also make sense that you're able to gain various enhancements and physical boost if you manipulate the right part of your bodily systems in order to benefit you with body function empowerment. With the manipulation and empowerment of your body's functions, one would be able to control the set of life-sustaining chemical reactions in an organism that essentially dictate how fast or slow bodily operations and processes are going to process with metabolism manipulation. And one of the main ways that a metabolism displays itself is through the amount of heat that the user's or the target's body emits. So, with body temperature manipulation, the user has complete control over the body temperature of oneself and others. This includes increasing and decreasing the body's temperature to harmless or lethal levels. Bodily aspect enhancement can allow the user to increase the strength or usefulness of a targeted body part or bodily system. One of the most popular applications of that is to increase your or a target's natural healing processes far beyond what it could do before, as a faster metabolism means faster recovery, with regenerative healing factor. FYI, I have a video on that too that I did years ago. People seem to like it, so check that out. I'll put the link in the description for you. Higher tier users can not only enhance parts of their body, but also whatever effects said particular body part is responsible for generating, with bodily attribute augmentation. In a much more intimate manner than the applications listed in the lower tiers or previously, a user at this level can alter the shape, length, size, etc. of the body or specific body parts. in ways that shouldn't be possible without affecting the health of the target with body distortion. The next best thing to do when you figure out the previous is to create your own source of organic-based defense system completely on your own with natural weaponry. Or you could do the inverse and go the pacifist route, protecting yourself while copyright infringing on all turtles by possessing a retractable body. But if you don't want to be compared to a turtle, I get it, then just target a body or body part and cause them to rapidly waste away into nothing, significantly reducing its mass and size while at the same time appropriating the energy to replenish yourself with atrophy or atrophy inducement. They could skip leg day forever by easily destroying the body or body parts of any living organism, which in most cases often results in death, with body destruction. But if wanton gore and destruction aren't your cup of tea, I get it can get a little messy. I don't want to clean that up either. Then just do the inverse and solidify a chosen body or body part of your choice and increase the durability and density with body hardening. But the laws of physics are pretty clear about things that are more solid and dense, stating that they really aren't as mobile or dexterous as a body part that's more flexible. So, if you come across this, you, my nerd and nerdettes, have a user of body immobilization. You know what? Let's go ahead and add motor skill manipulation to that as well, because making something immobile is the same as controlling it and causing it to stop. Maybe. While the best of the best, those that have mastered this ability, or at least can be called master level, in a sense, can change and modify the bodies of oneself or others. Normally, this enhances the physical capabilities and does other things, such as alternating appearances and so on. But in this case, these modifications can grant certain powers and qualities, whether it be magical, technological, divine, nature-based, etc. These changes can reach down to the genetic or even subatomic levels, which alter the nature of the body on a fundamental level, with body modification. They can recreate their bodies completely if damaged beyond normal regeneration limits, either by changing the conceptual nature of their body, aka they can imagine their body how they want it to be, or by simply creating or recreating their entire body from scratch, with body recreation. If they want a cleaner and arguably faster process, then they can just reset the body to what it was before, with body restoration. Continuing with the same theme with this level of control over a body, then with body storage, the user has compartments in their body that can store different things, such as objects and weapons, oftentimes in ways that seem like they defy logic. Here's one that'll creep you guys out with personal space issues. Body link grants the power to link one's own body with those of other living beings, sharing their strength, condition, and physical powers, while at the same time enhancing what already exists. And if you want to go full nightmare fuel and rip off the movie Freaky Friday while you're at it, then crank that creepy closeness you have with another body up to 11 by kicking the target out of their own body and plopping yourself right in, with body swapping. In most cases, this resolves in the two winding up in each other's bodies, but there are examples of the target being locked away behind a mental wall while you take control over their body. The user can then infuse their control over bodies and anatomies with whatever combative capabilities they possess with body combat. And lastly, a user can push their bodily potential or capabilities beyond their normal limitations, allowing the user to do things they normally couldn't do or wouldn't be able to do with their physical form alone. So basically, whatever the user has the distant potential to do can be achieved pretty easily with this power, almost effortlessly, with body transcendence. And there you have it, body manipulation in a body bag. A nutshell. Oof, where'd that come from? An extremely versatile ability that can lead to and is the cause of many other abilities. And because of this ability's simplicity, I guess it really doesn't have any weakness or limitations that need to be mentioned, per se. That doesn't mean that there aren't any, but they're still fairly basic and can be applied to anything, such as being limited to manipulating the body of oneself or others. They might also be limited to manipulating certain body parts of oneself or others, or they might even be limited to certain species or body types. And you obviously need the skill and know-how if you're going to do something in order to do it effectively, so that's a major drawback of this ability as well. But users of higher tier powers like biology, DNA, or organic manipulation can affect and in some cases overwhelm you if you're dealing with organic flesh-based body, normally found in plants and animals. And if you're some type of inhuman, then you might have the situational weakness that can cause bodily destruction or harm, but anything else would operate the same as it normally would, so there you go. And now, with all that out of the way, it's time to place this ability on the scale. Body manipulation is pretty dang useful when you consider all of its applications and uses. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'd want it. But the unfortunate part about this video is that there are still dozens of uses that I could have covered, but they would fit better in another video because they cover different powers and different power concepts. So stay tuned for the splinter videos of this ability. But without any more delay, the Shea scaling system gives this power a skin-peeling 8.5. This power has immense versatility in near infinite ways that it can be portrayed and or shown, but because bodies are inherently vulnerable, it still carries some of those weaknesses to it, so yeah. Thanks for watching. You guys think of any more applications for this power, jot it down in the comments section. If you're tired of talking about the same old powers I've done before, then jump ahead of line and join my channel membership, where for only $5.99 a month, you'll be able to not only watch the complete video unedited because of YouTube's random copyright, but also future videos that you guys have requested numerous times in the comment section, but I just haven't made public yet, such as these heavy hitters. Yeah. So click now and join if you don't want to wait. If not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.